See, idols lie. They promise things that only God can deliver, and they do so to enslave us. And that's why the worship of God is so important, because that alone frees us. Let me ask you a few things. Let me first give you a few statements to help you find your idol. An idol lives in our heart before it escapes into our lives. Luther said, Martin Luther, the great reformer, that to which your heart clings and entrusts itself is, I say, really your God. An idol is a good thing: family, marriage, health, GPA, income. An idol is a good thing that becomes a God thing, which makes it a bad thing. An idol is something that keeps you up at night and gets you up in the morning. An idol is anyone or anything that replaces Jesus at the center of your life. An idol is any created thing that takes the Creator's place in your life. An idol is what you turn to instead of God to get what you want. If you idolize, you will demonize. The great American theologian Jonathan Edwards articulated this. If you idolize your job, eventually you'll demonize your job. You'll hate it. If you idolize your spouse, eventually you will demonize your spouse and hate them. Do you ever wonder why in our culture there will be certain politicians, celebrities, business leaders, whatever the case might be, there's this roaring surge of worshipful approval. We idolize them. And then when they fail because their name isn't Jesus, what do we do to them? We demonize them. We vilify them. We criticize them. We hate them. How many of you, this has happened to you? Somebody idolized you, you failed them, they demonized you. How many of us have done it to someone else? If you idolize or worship someone or something, invariably you will demonize that person or thing. One more thing. Don't let idol hunting become your idol. See, immediately, some of you are tender conscience, you're very serious, you're introspective, you do love the Lord, you want to get it right. So immediately you'll become absolutely, oh my gosh, where are my idols? What's in my heart? What am I living for? Why do I get up in the morning? How do I spend my money? What motivates me? What drives me? You know what? You're still all about you. You're still not about Jesus and other people. Jesus said the whole point of the law is that we would love God and love our neighbor. So at some point you got to stop looking at yourself and get out to Jesus and get out to some other people. What happens with some people is they become very dark. All of a sudden for them, the mark of true spirituality is finding idolatry. Historically, there are people who, in an effort to help atone for their own sin, would harm themselves. They would remove from themselves any sort of pleasure. It's blasphemous. Saying, when Jesus said it was finished, he wasn't talking to me. He didn't suffer for my sin. I need to suffer for my sin too. I need to help little Jesus out with my forgiveness. Don't beat yourself up. Don't obsess. Don't spend your whole life looking for your idols. Okay? When the Holy Spirit shows you one, smash it. If there's somebody you love and you see it in their life, lovingly approach them. But here's the deal. We're all going to have idols. They're going to show up. John Calvin, the great Bible teacher, said that the human heart is an idol factory. We're going to make some. But don't obsess over this. The worse you feel does not necessarily mean the holier you are. So the answer is not to make idol hunting your idol, but to make Jesus the object of your worship. The way out of idolatry is worship. You're made to worship. We're all going to worship. So if we worship Jesus, that sets us free from the idols and sin, and it liberates us to live the life that God intends for us, the one of true freedom.